Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and I am back making another Rx-7 video out here in the garage. Unfortunately right now the Rx-7 is actually off at the shop, so we have just the 31 Ford Model A for background. But today I wanted to make a video because I get a lot of DMs and emails and messages asking a couple of very similar questions, which is where do I buy an Rx-7, where do I sell an Rx-7, and where can I buy Rx-7 parts? So I'm going to be answering those questions at least to the best of my ability today in this video, and it's broken down into chapters. You'll see down below there are different chapters, so if you just want to see one part, like I just want to know where to get parts, I just want to know where to sell my car, things like that, you can scroll through. We're going to be starting off with vocabulary that you might want to know before you start your searches. Then we'll talk about parts, and then we'll talk about whole cars. So, vocab to know before buying or selling Rx-7s or Rx-7 parts. The first one that comes to mind is OEM. OEM means original equipment manufacturer, meaning this is the original part for the car. This is going to be when you're looking for parts, you'll see OEM brakes, OEM tie rods, OEM bumpers, things like that. Those are going to be the exact original parts from Mazda. Those are going to be the best of the best, or at least the best of what originally came on the car. They're not different, they're not modified, they're exactly how they are. And you'll also sometimes see OEM replacements, meaning like Exetti makes an OEM replacement clutch. It's not the original clutch that came in the car, but it is up to the standards of the original clutch and will bolt right up without modification. The next abbreviation to learn is NLA. This means no longer available, and you'll see this on parts sites again or catalogs. That means that the part, the OEM part, is no longer available from the manufacturer or from anyone else. MazdaTricks.com is very good at telling you when a product or part is NLA, but if it says NLA, unfortunately you cannot find those anymore, and you're going to have to go to the secondhand market to find them. The next abbreviation is OBO, meaning or best offer. You'll commonly see this when looking to buy an Rx-7. A lot of the times, sellers will post $3,000 OBO, meaning $3,000, but if you make a decent offer like $2,850, they're open to offers like that. It usually means they're looking to get rid of the car in a relatively quick amount of time, so they'll take a really good offer if it's very enticing, or if you just come with the said price, of course they'll take that as well. Next up is roller and shell. So a roller is an Rx-7 that does not have an engine or transmission. Sometimes they do have transmissions, or sometimes very rarely it will be an Rx-7 with all the parts, but it doesn't work. A roller means that the vehicle does not drive under its own power. You can't get in, turn the key, and start going. Now, of course, this is going to be different for each car. A $3,000 roller might be different than a $800 roller. I can tell you for sure they'll be different. So if it says roller, just know that it's not an operational vehicle. So if you see a really cheap Rx-7, again, $800 roller, just know that it's not going to be a car you could get in and drive. And that's the same way with shell as well. They're sort of interchangeable terms. If you see an Rx-7 shell, more so the shell doesn't have the engine or transmission at all. They're just vacant from they're not even there. So a shell is literally just the outside body. You're going to have to find an engine, you're going to have to find a transmission, and things like that. But let's talk about finding that now with buying and selling parts. Well, to start off, the best places to go are the commonly known websites of AtkinsRotary.com, MazdaTricks.com, and Racing Beat are my top 3. And all these will be linked in the description below. These websites are actual dedicated websites for Rotary parts. Atkins Rotary is absolutely fantastic. They're very down-to-earth people. They have a huge catalog, huge selection of parts, a bunch of OEM parts from Mazda, which is absolutely great. They're based out of Washington, and they're a very down-to-earth family. You can call them up and just, if you have a question about a part you're looking for or anything like that, they're really, really great. I've talked to Daniel Atkins a lot, who's been running the ship over there recently, and he's been fantastic each time. Literally give them a call, and they will help you find parts. Mazda Rx has been really helpful as well. They're also really good at telling you when things are NLA, which is very helpful. And then Racing Beat is more modification. They sell aftermarket exhaust systems, sway bars. Like I just ordered sway bar links for my FB Rx-7, but the stock sway bar links are NLA, so I had to go with the Racing Beat upgraded ones, but they are parts that will fit and work and things like that. So those are my top 3 of Atkins Rotary, Mazda Rx, and Racing Beat. However, if you want to start looking for parts, and this is going to be like the overarching sort of ideal of this video, please join the Facebook Rx-7 groups. I'll show a couple screenshots of the ones that I'm in right now. They're broken down by region sometimes, they're broken down by generation, and they're also just Rx-7 groups. These have been the most helpful groups in order to find parts and cars, as we'll talk about later, in recent years. Facebook, I know, is this sort of grandma social media platform, but it's actually been really, really helpful for Rx-7s, and a lot of the times people will post up extra parts that they have, because a lot of the Rx-7 parts nowadays are in the private collection. Behind this Model A here, I have 6 front spindles for an Rx-7. I have a front subframe for an Rx-7. I have a drive shaft. You can see in the corner there, right there, there's a drive shaft for an FB. I have a transmission back there. Most Rx-7 parts are in the private domain. People like me pack rat them. Rotary owners, as I'm sure you know one, pack rats parts because they're hard to find. But if you ask in the groups and say, hey, I have an 83 Rx-7, I'm looking for the rear glass, sometimes, a lot of the times, people will reply that they have a couple in their shed, a couple in their storage unit, or a couple in their basement like me. So if you take anything from this video, join the Rx-7 Facebook groups, join your generation of Rx-7, join the general Rx-7, and join regional Rx-7s. Like there's Chicago Rotary, Chi-Town Rotary for me, and I've found that helpful with buying and selling parts as well. So if you don't want to use the websites, please go to Facebook. It's going to be really, really good for finding NLA parts. But now let's talk about buying and selling cars. If you don't own an Rx-7 but you'd like to, where do you go? You can't go to a dealership and just buy an Rx-7 these days. I wish you could, but you can't. So where do you go? So let's start off with the big names of Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer. These are big auction websites. And so if you want to find a pristine, low mileage Rx-7, these are great websites to do so. However, most people don't have the $20,000, the $30,000, the $40,000 that Rx-7s are getting on those websites, so I would tend to avoid those if you're more of a laid-back enthusiast and not a collector. Same thing goes with selling on those websites. I wouldn't really sell on those websites unless your vehicle is super low mileage. We're talking 30,000 miles, we're talking 40,000 miles, garage kept, no rust, sort of things like that. Then I would sell on those websites. Nothing against those websites, but the Rx-7 isn't really there yet to be common on those kinds of websites. The next up is good old-fashioned Craigslist. I have purchased 2 Rx-7s off of Craigslist, and it's okay. However, in recent years, Craigslist has changed, and now Craigslist requires a $5 fee when posting on their website, which I think deters a lot of people from posting, so you're not going to see a whole lot of stuff on there, unfortunately. And sadly, as we get back to it, honestly, the best place, and the place I recommend to everyone to buy and sell their Rx-7 is Facebook Marketplace. I know, I don't like Facebook. I don't enjoy it, but the sole reason I still have a Facebook account is for buying and selling Rx-7 parts and Rx-7s themselves. Do a marketplace search, it'll usually come up with a decent amount of Rx-7s for sale. Facebook has really good messaging options. You can immediately start messaging the person. It's not like Craigslist where you have to get their phone number and then they have your phone number and blah, blah, blah. And there's no listing fees on Facebook. So if someone wants to sell their Rx-7, there's almost no restriction stopping them. They can just go sell their Rx-7, which has been fantastic. And that's actually where I bought my blue Rx-7, was actually off of Facebook Marketplace. I don't know if I've said that publicly, but yeah, that's how I bought my blue Rx-7 roller, was off of Facebook Marketplace. It really is fantastic. As much as I hate it, and I'm laughing saying it, I dislike Facebook, but it's actually a really, really good service for finding Rx-7s. Now, one quick tip before we end out the video. When you are searching for an Rx-7, try putting in some odd search terms. When you type out Rx-7, leave the dash in. Try it with the dash, try it without the dash. RX-7 or just Rx-7, no dash. The reason I say that is because it's a very common thing with Miatas is you get older people or non-enthusiasts who want to sell their Miata. They don't know that they're called Miatas, so they label them as MX-5s. They label them as just MX no dash 5. They label them as Mazda Roadster for sale without even putting Miata or MX-5 even in the title. So if you really want to broaden your searches, try to catch some gems here and there. I would try with and without the dash. I would try Mazda Rotary. I would try Mazda Coupe. Things like that. Might enrich your searches for selling, might enrich your searches for buying, and then selling is the same thing. I tell everyone, sell your car on Facebook Marketplace. It's one of the best guarantees of selling the car. And a lot of times, I forgot to mention this with the groups, a lot of times people will post in the Facebook groups for RX-7s, like Chi-Town Rotary, Chicago Rotaries. Someone will say, hey, before I make this big listing, if anyone wants the car, here's the price. And they want to sell it to another enthusiast. They want to sell it to someone who knows that they'll care. So join the Facebook groups. I guarantee you will get the best deals in there. You'll meet a lot of people in there, and it'll be generally the most helpful. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this long-winded video about buying and selling RX-7s. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section down below. I'll try to respond to as many as I can. But good luck with your searches. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.